That's kind of what we want, really, is the inside. That kind of looks candified. Just an old French turkey. So, new book out.
Yeah.
Really.
Yeah.
It's more of a book than a turkey book, I would say.
Yeah, it's substantial. I tried to make it kind of small and concise, and I failed miserably.
A lot of places where they're big on turkey, they're like, you're screwing it up unless you chop it into cubes and throw it in fat. So how are we getting beyond the fried turkey?
I like to cook the heart and the liver and the gizzard together because it offers a pretty substantial amount, especially if you combine it with some other stuff. So I like to make a pasta sauce out of just those off the turkey, mixed with a little bacon or pancetta, little cured Italian style bacon, and some vegetables. And you can really stretch those giblets pretty far and also make them really approachable. Like on some pasta, little grated hard cheese on there. I think most people are going to love that, even people that don't think that they're going to like the heart and the gizzard and the liver.
You know what's super weird about that combo, even though it's a very natural combination, is you have 3 completely different consistencies, right?
Correct.
Like there's arguably not a tougher, more dense muscle in the entire animal than the gizzard.
Absolutely. That gizzard, we're going to cook it for quite a while. And that gizzard is going to become tender. That liver is going to add some real silkiness to the sauce. And so I think it's more of a textural thing, but I love this quite a bit. And my daughter will eat this. And, so that's usually the hallmark of an approachable recipe.
I'm not pumping your tires here, Jesse, but like how often are people like, no, I don't want to eat what you cooked?
Not often.
Yeah. Okay, good.
We just need to dice up our pancetta, and I'm just gonna get it, literally into pieces that'll fit into the grinder. I might take that gizzard down a little bit.
And this is something I was wondering about too, right? Because there's like, even within a gizzard, there's real hard pieces and real soft pieces.
Correct. I think that, this is a lot of silver skin, it's gonna convert over and give it some gelatin, which we want. And so I'm definitely leaving all that in there.
No way.
Yeah, I'm gonna grind this up as is. And like I said, this is a very textural sauce. We're gonna get a lot of silkiness out of the liver. We're gonna get a little bit of bite out of the gizzard, but it's gonna be ground through a medium plate. So the biggest piece after an hour and a half might have, I'm not even gonna say chew, but it's gonna have a bit of texture.
Okay.
This is the easiest thing to prep.
There's plenty of room for that in the world.
Yeah.
Like eat the easy things.
Yeah. Yeah, so I'm gonna grind kind of in the same order that I'm gonna cook. I'm gonna do the pancetta first, because that's gonna cook and provide some fat to then brown the offal. And then I'm gonna throw the vegetables in there, and that'll also serve the purpose of pushing everything through the grinder.
Sweet.
Something about grinding the vegetables too, just like really breaks them down. Same size, like I think that if the vegetables are too chunky in this sauce, you just don't get the texture and the silkiness that you're looking for. So now we've got everything ground, we're ready to go in the pan.
Sweet.
Nice and hot, we're gonna go in first with our pancetta.
Like out of all the spoons, you selected like a Lord of the Rings type of...
I got the wooden one. I love wooden spoons.
Okay.
Like I really like wooden spoons a lot. I just want to get this really nice and brown and also have it give up some of its fat. If you're just using regular smoked bacon, that'll have plenty of nice fat in there. This pancetta, you can see it starting to render out real nice. You're starting to get that brown smell. It's really important in this recipe that we're gonna brown everything really deeply. Like we're gonna build just like foundation on foundation of like those really nice browned flavors, especially what's about to go in, which will be, I'd say this is looking really good. Just needs a few more seconds, and then we're gonna put the giblets in, and then brown that up really nicely. I'm gonna stir it a lot. I'm also gonna let it sit a little bit. That'll help it develop a little bit of a crust. We are really looking for some just deep browning. You can also hear it, you know, when it moves from like kind of a gurgle to more like that sizzle.
Yeah.
That's always really indicative of browning, which is very important. Okay, so now I'm gonna say we're almost there. Let me give this another, oh yeah, see, it's starting to stick, which is exactly what I want to see. Is it to stick, because when we add those vegetables in there, the moisture from the vegetables is gonna deglaze and pull all that crust off the bottom.
First deglaze.
The first deglaze is actually the vegetables, and grinding them, you know how watery they were? That's gonna really help add all that moisture. Also add in a pinch of salt, which will draw the moisture out of those vegetables too. That's a really good way. I can hear that, it's starting to pop. Time to throw these vegetables in. It's also starting to smell real nice. All right, vegetables. And the next thing we're gonna add in there is gonna be just a little bit of tomato. This isn't a very tomato forward sauce, but there is a little bit. It's not gonna get like cans of tomatoes, but I put just a little bit of tomato paste in there. And then I'm gonna stir that in really well. So we've built up all these flavors. We browned our pancetta, we browned our offal, we browned our vegetables, we browned our tomato paste. Start adding liquid right now. In the first addition will be a little bit of wine. Really don't have to get real picky about it. I'm gonna use red wine for this just because of the richness, but if you've got a little bottle of white wine in there, use that. Oh yeah.
Now we're cooking, team.
Yep. I got some big sage leaves. I might even just tear those in half, throw those in there, and some rosemary leaves. It's gonna cook for a while. I also kind of like sometimes when you get a nice burst of a certain herb with a bite instead of it being dispersed through there. So I'm just gonna add those in and start to cook that out. And we're almost ready to start the simmer. It's starting to smell real good, especially with the addition of those herbs.
Oh yeah.
Sticking to the sides, which means that we are doing everything right, getting it nice and browned. And now we're gonna add in some stock. Obviously some homemade turkey stock is gonna be best and just boost that turkey flavor. But you know, store-bought chicken stock would work. Any kind of neutral stock would be really nice. I'm gonna just start with about 2 cups.
All right, sweet. So this thing's gonna simmer. While that leg's kind of finishing, we'll work on that sauce. It was like a peach glaze.
Yep.
And then we got some fire outside, and we'll char that thing, and should have her all wrapped up about the same time.
Perfect.
Super basic, right?
Yeah.
Sugar, sweet, acid, tangy. Speaking of character, we have no refrigerator, so dipping in here for our butter. Step by step.
Fat, like when you're, usually lean game meats, that's gonna be key. Is, we got our sweet, we've got our sour. We're gonna add it and baste it with a little bit of fat at the end. So adding that butter in is just gonna help with the caramelization along with the sugar and the jam.
All right, beauty.
Let's start there.
Hot.
Oh no, you always get that jolt of vinegar. Yeah, I like that. It's got some nice acidity to it, and it's not overly sweet. I think that's got a good amount of hot sauce in there too.
Sweet.
So, yeah, let's call it.
Awesome. So this is your pig rib recipe for the outdoor cookbook. Thought I had ribs, didn't have ribs, so it came up with this little baby pig leg, and salt and peppered it last night, sat in the fridge all night, got here this morning. Really simple braising liquid, salt, pepper, which was already on the pig, fennel seeds, onion, and fill it up with water. Into the oven it went. I had forgotten the head of garlic, so I threw that in a little bit later.
That's fine.
And here we are. So she's, I wouldn't call it fork tender,
We're getting there.
but we're getting there.
Yeah.
It'll have some bite and some chew, but I'll throw this on a cookie sheet and we'll run her outside and get it on the flame.
Sounds good.
Woo! It's definitely smoky.
Yeah.
That's kind of a hot spot right there.
Yeah, just get a liberal amount of glaze on there.
You know, if I was running a camera right now, I'd be like, God, this is a beautiful light.
Yeah, it is nice light.
Yeah.
We're boiling. I want a nice, very strong rolling boil for my pasta. I want to heavily salt my water, salty like the sea, maybe even a little bit more. I want to get a good amount of salt in there. It's not going to make the pasta salty, but it will season it. And then I'm going to add in my pasta. I like a little grabby shape. This is cavatelli, and it's going to really, it's got these little ridges on it and these little grooves, and that's going to grab that pasta sauce real nice. Also, I like it because you can eat it with a fork. I'm going to go in there, give it a good stir. All right.
Awesome. You've obviously got this handle. I'm going to hit the grill
Yeah.
and make sure we're somewhere where we want to be.
Remove bay leaves first. We have 1, 2, 3 in there. We'll get those out of there.
That's very considerate of you.
Yes. We're gonna add in a little bit of butter and a little bit of cheese. I like pecorino a lot. And I'm just gonna grate some of it right in there into the sauce. Now let's taste that. Once we get that butter melted in there, you wanna grab a spoon and tell me what you think?
Oh man. I always just like the look on that dinner guest's face where they go and have to pull the full bay leaf out in front of everybody.
Right.
You're just so refined.
Yeah, there you go. Check it out. Should be nice and tender. Pretty rich.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, it's wonderful. Yeah, man, I mean, it's just good.
Good.
You know, I mean, you can't be like, oh yeah, there's a gizzard in there.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
That's great. That's
Yeah.
great.
I love it. Next up, I want to purposely undercook my pasta just a touch.
Yep.
And then I'm going to just scoop it in there, let it hold a little bit of that water. I'm going to turn this up a little bit, and I'm going to kind of finish that pasta in the sauce.
But you're transferring that liquid in here.
A little bit of liquid
Yeah.
too. You see, you want it to just kind of cloak that pasta, not be drowned at all. You know, you want it to be really just a nice mix of where the pasta is kind of the star and it's just lightly dressed with that sauce. And I'm gonna call that done. And let's transfer it immediately over to a plate. Spread it out a little bit. And you know, everybody needs to be at the table. I get very upset if people aren't ready for things like this because it's gonna cool off and you wanna eat this absolutely hot. I'm gonna finish that with a little bit more pecorino.
Oh, dude, that looks so killer. It looks like you could easily not leave the kitchen.
Yeah.
Right? Yeah.
Yeah. I mean, it's so substantial too. All right, this is definitely enough. I love this pasta too, this shape. And it is eminently forkable. Cheers. That needs a glass of red wine.
That's fantastic, man.
Yeah.
I don't want to break your rule about not eating hot food, but I'm going to go grab that pig leg.
Yeah, that sounds fine.
All right.
All right. Ooh.
So We just got
smoky
to the glaze.
and glazy. Yeah,
Ooh, that leg's coming apart a little bit.
Yeah, yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, so we're hitting all the notes there. Smoke, sweet, sour, spicy. We've got a beautiful pig leg. You did a great job on that. Oh, that's really good. Very tender.
Shockingly tender for what my guess.
Pigs are good. I like
Pigs
them a
are
lot.
good, buddy. Yeah, they are. So the Jesse Griffiths wild boar ribs with peach glaze out of the MeatEater outdoor cookbook.
Yeah.
This is a pig leg,
Yep.
but we used the boar rib recipe, and it turned out killer.
Evidently adaptable.
Yeah, and that's kind of like a theme in that book, and I think just from us cooking here today, a theme out of your book too, right? It's like get in, get your hands dirty, try this stuff, and you're gonna make something good happen.
Absolutely. Yeah, I think so. Yeah. Flexibility, whether, it's pig leg, turkey. Turkey to me also represents something that has way more uses than I think people normally approach it with.
You gotta say my new favorite turkey recipe for me one more time.
Okay, it's ragout de regalier.
So refined.
There you go. It's in there.
The turkey book.
Yeah.
Already a big fan. Check out the turkey book. Check out the MeatEater outdoor cookbook. Versatile recipes to expand your mind in the outdoors.
Love it. Thanks for having me.
Oh, dude, thank you so much.